Hello Snackers, this is Kareem Iskander. I'm a lead technical advocate with Cisco Learning and Certifications.
Hey everyone, I'm Matt DiNapoli. I'm manager of developer advocacy with Cisco DevNet.
Welcome to episode 107 of Snack Minute.
Snack Minute is your weekly 10-minute bite of coding, learning, and just some cool projects that we like to work on.
And the cool thing we're going to talk to you today about is Certification Roadmap with Yusuf. Yusuf, do you mind introducing yourself?
Hey, thank you for having me. So my name is Yusuf Bhaiji. I'm the director for Certification Programs. So my team is responsible for the entire portfolio of all the certification umbrella from associate, professional, expert, the world of CCNA, CCNP, CCIE, DevNet, CyberOps, the whole gamut.
So everything certification within Cisco.
Absolutely.
Thank you for joining us today, Yusuf.
Thank you for having me.
So talk to us a little bit. What's a certification roadmap?
Yeah, so the thing is that last year we announced this completely new paradigm for certification cadence. And what happened in the past is there was a lot of guesswork in terms of when the certification is changing and updating, because technology is changing really fast, right? And the program needs to align with all the new products and solutions. And the exams used to be very kind of, stagnant and stale. Like if I change it in 3 year or 5 year, it's not relevant anymore for the person taking the exam, right? So we need to make sure it's aligned with the job role. So now we introduce this something called Certification Roadmap. Just like any product lifecycle, certification now has a continuous iteration model. And it's more predictable, meaning that we have published the calendar. So removing all the element of guesswork, when is the next CCNA changing, when is the next CCIE changing, all of that is published on our website.
Yeah, that was huge, like in the community, like wondering when, is my CCIE going to change? I'm studying for it now.
Yeah.
Is it going to change next week? What are the changes?
Yeah,
so
there was a lot
huge,
of the surprise element, right? And the students who are in the journey, it's difficult for them to kind of get that shock, right?
Right.
I mean, you're taking training classes, you're buying books, you're doing hands-on labs.
It's an investment. It's definitely an investment. Yeah.
So by giving you a kind of a timeline, it's more kind of transparent and more, how should I say, like predictable.
Right.
So given that you're now treating it as a true product as you would anything else, I presume that you're doing some kind of versioning with these things. And
absolutely, glad you brought that up.
To understand what the next version or subversion might bring.
Absolutely, and glad you brought it up. So what moving forward we're going to do, or it's already done now, is every exam blueprint has a version number. Just like any iOS number like x.y.
Right.
So a blueprint version could be 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. And you can identify a version number and what is happening to that exam, whether we have changed a major portion of the exam or some smaller tweaks of the exam. So what we do is we call it major revision and minor revision.
Okay.
Major revision is something we iterate more longer period, like 3 to 5 years. It's kind of larger in terms of the impact. I would put a percentage on it, like more than 20% of the exam is changing. Oh, wow. So technology has drastically changed around, blueprint is changing, so it's a major revision. So you go from 1.0 to 2.0. Okay. So that's a major revision. Of course. Right? And minor is the dot release. So if things are very small, like changes 5%, 10%, we've capped it at 20%. Anything below 20 is a minor revision. So we make it a dot release, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3.
How often do you expect for the minor revisions to go up?
So traditionally, our kind of ballpark timeline is we will try to iterate annually every year. Okay. So minor revision every year. Okay. Major revision every 3 to 5 years. Now, one important thing I want to highlight here, it is not mandatory to change every year.
Right.
What we are claiming is we will review it every year. So we gather subject matter experts in the room and say, okay, let's look at the blueprint. Let's say data center or collaboration. We go through all the exam blueprints, like 4 or 5 exams, and say, well, is the technology changed or not? Right. Maybe it's not changed, so no change. So for example, recently we made an announcement that CCNA program. We gathered the SMEs, they looked at it and said, yeah, everything is hunky-dory, no need to change. So this calendar year, no change. No change. Mm-hmm. So we actually made the announcement, no change. But on the contrary, let's say another program like CCNP security, or CCIE Enterprise. Yeah, there is a change. It's minor. Here is the release notes, and you can kind of look at through what changes we have introduced.
So I'm assuming that roadmap exists somewhere that I would see out there. Where can you give me a little bit of background? Where
Absolutely,
do I see it?
and this is the one takeaway I want people to kind of take from this episode is the URL that we are going to show on the screen. Is we have a certification roadmap website,
okay.
and it's a shortcut, very easy to remember: cisco.com/go/cert roadmap, CERT roadmap. So you go to this page, you'll find all the information for every single exam that we exist.
So Snackers, check this out. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have, but before we let him go, we're going to put you on the spot, Yusuf. You're a first timer, so we're going to ask you a question that we ask all of our guests. If you had to pick one superpower, what would that be and why?
Superpower?
Yeah.
My God, that's like completely
You're already
off the
superhuman,
topic.
so.
I mean, all the things he listed that he covers, I can't even believe you sleep at night.
Right.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, I think I would like to go back in time and maybe change my journey.
Interesting.
Kind of, do more. I mean, I'm happy, satisfied what I'm doing now, but I had some other plans that I would like to explore.
Okay.
That's it.
Time travel.
Yeah. Oh, time travel we've heard, but not specifically for that reason. So
Education.
That's an interesting one. Yeah. Okay.
That's wonderful.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Yusuf, for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate having me.
Snackers, thank you again for joining us in another episode, and we'll see you guys next week.